Hello and welcome everybody out to Game of the Month discussion number 37 on Star Wars Rogue Squadron. So this is an N64 classic, or if you happen to pick up that mystical PC version back in the day. Amazing Star Wars flight sim and one of my all-time favorite games. Yes, I'm just going to come right out of the gate and say that. And I have covered this game extensively on my channel. Let's see here. We have complete, no commentary playthroughs of the PC version, a complete commentated walkthrough of the N64 version, every single piece of bonus cutscene and information available, and numerous comparisons between the N64 and PC version, which I will probably bring up if I can remember any of them. This was quite a few years ago. But anyway, got this game back when it launched in 1998. Got it for my birthday, and just love this game. I'm going to share some really embarrassing stories about it later on in this discussion. But joining me this month, we've got Sir Lulz and SMWiz. Thank you once again for joining me on this one. And please take some of the spotlight off of me right now because I've been talking for a long time already. So Zachary, when did you start playing this game?
So this game actually is a very important milestone in my gaming life because the N64 was the very first game console I owned in my life, and this game was the first game I got for it on Christmas 1998, along with Super Mario 64.
Yes.
So this game, yeah, I know we've talked about Final Fantasy and other games where I just kind of came on late. It's like, no, this isn't just a game for me. This is
the game. This is the game. And I mean, you can check out how the game looks and plays right here this month because I actually figured out how to be cool, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, this game has a lot of history, because it was one of the first games I ever owned. So I ground the absolute crap out of it. This wasn't modern day Steam libraries, backlog. No, it was this Super Mario 64 and they got played.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't get gold medals on everything, but even before I had the internet, more or less, we had dial, but you know what I mean? I didn't have access to the internet. I had gold, silver, medals, I got all the bonus stuff. Unfortunately, do you have something you wanted to say?
No. I'm just thinking about something I forgot to add to my little show and tell.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And I also got the strategy guide for it. I unfortunately don't have that anymore. It was lost or destroyed somewhere in the past, regrettably. But yeah, I got the strategy guide. This was a great game. And the cheat codes, I played that you type chicken walker. Yes. Yeah, that one.
Oh my goodness, what's that going for now?
Not much. That's why I got. No, this is cheap. That's why I got it. This is a recent edition.
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah,
it still has the original Walmart sell label on it for $10.
But yeah, and the cheat codes, I always did the chicken walker, even before I knew what the term mech meant. I was into mechs, and I played that chicken walker secret level all the time.
Oh man! So
how about you, Wiz?
Yeah, Wiz, give us your introduction to the game because there's something about this strategy guide I want to lead off with.
Yeah, so for me, this is my childhood copy right here, along with the instruction manual. And I'm definitely not spinning out trying to figure out where the box is at the moment. But I got this game. I think it was in '99 when I got it. And I had played a little bit of Star Wars X-Wing and Star Wars TIE Fighter on the PC. And so when there was a Star Wars flight game on the N64, I was all in on that. Because I mean, for me, for a lot of people, Star Wars was a big thing for me before the special editions came out. My parents had the older editions on VHS, so I those are some of the tapes I was wearing out when I was 5 years old. But
yeah, my copy of A New Hope.
I played a ton of this. I was never able to get a gold on that stupid level with the AT-ATs attacking the city, you know. But I'm not bitter. Definitely not bitter, 26 years later. We're not angry about the stupid AT-ATs on the mountainside attacking the city. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. It bothers me. It bothers me a lot. But
I think I got the gold medal on that one. Not rubbing
yeah.
it in at all.
No, it's fine. We all, it's like, you have some that I don't, and I probably have some you don't. Maybe, who knows?
Meanwhile, my casual playthrough of this game is just getting a gold on every single level before progressing to the next one. No upgrades or anything. Get them as you go.
Yeah. Oh man, but yeah. So I played a ton of this back in the day. I had not touched it in a very long time. So coming back and playing it now was like experiencing it brand new all over almost. There was like elements of like seeing a stage load in and being like, oh, I recognize this theme. I don't remember what's gonna happen in this level though. Except for that stupid city one. As soon as I saw that, it was like, choppers coming over the rice paddies, but it's we persevere.
Oh man. Yeah, so I didn't do a complete playthrough of this game for this month's discussion because again, I've played this game into oblivion over years and years and years. So my last full playthrough of the game would have been when I did the retro achievement run for it in 2022, mastered the retro achievement set, great set. But I loaded it up about an hour before the discussion and finished 6 missions, like all golds. I was very shocked by that. I was playing it, I was like, oh, this is going bad. This is going so bad. Gold medal, what? No. The only one I didn't get a gold in was Gerard 5 because one of the Y-Wings died, and I was like, you stupid little piece of junk.
One of the annoying things is when you miss like the gold because like I checked like beat mission in 3 minutes. Mission time 3 minutes 1 second. It's like
happens all the time.
So
all the time.
Again, I haven't played this game in years and years and years.
Yeah.
And so I loaded it up, and I thought I was gonna be slick and do a brand new from start playthrough. I missed the upgrades, so I just went back to my old save where I had everything unlocked. But I popped in Mos Eisley, and I mentioned I was using a third-party controller the first play, and that made me want to rage quit. I got rid of that and put an OEM controller in, and then we were off the races. And my first attempt at Mos Eisley, which I previously had a gold on, having no idea what the requirements were, I missed gold by 3 enemy kills, and I was like, interesting. I shot down all the ties and all the little bots, and you know exactly where this is going.
The 2 dewbacks and the 2 stormtroopers.
Yeah, I didn't go and pick off the itty bitty little ground forces.
Yep. That's the fun thing about this game. Ground forces actually count towards your kill count because they removed that in Rogue Squadron 2 and 3. Like, there's millions of little stormtroopers running around in the levels, in some of those levels, like Battle Hoth especially. And all it does is waste your accuracy. Yep, because they don't count as actual kills like they did in Rogue Squadron 1. But that was the fun thing about Rogue Squadron 1 too, because they actually, we're just going to get started here. They built the game to scale compared to every other Star Wars game that has really come before this. Because you look at Shadows of the Empire, and your Dash Rendar is too big to fit in a snow speeder when you're in the second level. And when you're playing the first level where you're actually flying around, the snow speeder is the same size as the main body of an AT-AT, and it's that's way too big. And so you can see in the video preview here, they actually scaled this game. The AT-AT is towering and huge compared to the snow speeder. And
the chicken walkers.
Yep. And that was a really big deal to me because it's you actually felt the power of this vehicle, even though they aren't difficult to kill. And then again, you're in a ship and you see little stormtroopers running around, and it's look at that. They're actually small, so where they look like they could fit in the cockpit of this ship. And then you go
It
on the Zap
also-
and it's like overkill.
Yeah, you also have the same feeling when you do the Chicken Walker minigame. For those that don't know, if you type in Chicken Walker in the cheat code screen, you play as an AT-AT. Or was it ATST? I'm
ST,
sorry.
ATST. It's all good. It's all good.
ST.
I'll
Yeah.
only burn you for it for about 3 seconds more. ATST.
Okay. ATSD. But yeah, like you get that same scale because then all of a sudden the camera is at the scale of an ATST, and then all of a sudden these little itty bitty dot people from your perspective in X-Wing, well, now they're proportional. And it's like, oh yeah, so they did a great job with the scale, not
Mhm.
only of things within the universe, but like the speed themselves. Like the vehicles feel really fast.
Yeah. That man, that is like, they really did give this game all the right feels, because it's like you're in an X-Wing, you're going cruising speed while your S-foils are open, you close the S-foils, and all of a sudden you're off to the races with that thing, and it's like, that's awesome. You get in an A-Wing,
that
it's
just
even
also-
faster, and it's like, holy
Yeah.
cow, TIE Interceptor is an unlockable ship in this game, and it's blazing fast as well. And then on the reverse end of that spectrum, you have the Y-Wing, and I love the Y-Wing, don't get me wrong. I think the Y-Wing is one of my favorite Star Wars ships. But I mean, it's lumbering. It's a lumbering tank. Like, it's so slow. And again, you feel that speed difference in every craft. And it's so well done.
Yeah, and there's that same handling with like the snow speeder. If you try to crash into the ground, it actually rights itself because it's not flying as much as it's hovering.
Yeah.
So
it's-
because it's like on an air cushion, when you go down, it just kind of poofs back up.
yeah.
So, yeah, the vehicles have their own feel, and like you just saw there, the X-wing did a roll, but you can't do that in the snow speeder because it's a hovercraft. It's not really a flying thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the
That's
vehicles
so
have their
good.
own feel. It's great.
The amount of craft you can play as is also just really nice too, because there's so many available. So you got X-Wing, A-Wing, Y-Wing, Millennium Falcon, TIE Interceptor. I already said A-Wing,
Naboo
right?
Starfighter.
Yeah, you said
Yeah.
Millennium Falcon, the newly
The
created
V-Wing.
V-wing,
Yeah, the V-Wing. That's the one I couldn't think of.
the Naboo Starfighter,
Yeah.
So yeah, we got
and-
like,
and then was this the game you could fly the Buick Cadillac in, or
with
was
the
that a
cheat code, yes, that's in all of
with a
them.
yeah.
But
Oh, it's in all of them. Well, today
it's
I
in all of
learned.
them. But the thing about one of those ships that you mentioned, the Naboo Starfighter, this game came out before Star Wars Episode 1 by
Yep.
5 months, 5-6 months.
Mhm.
So that is what I wanted to talk about in this here strategy guide, because they kept the Naboo Starfighter secret, and they managed to keep it secret until the release of Star Wars Episode 1. So, like, you go into even the strategy guide that you could buy along with the game, and there is no mentioning of the Naboo Starfighter anywhere in here. You've got the hidden ships of the Millennium Falcon and the TIE Interceptor, and that's it. There is no mention of the Naboo Starfighter anywhere in this. And then Star Wars Episode 1 comes out, and I think it was Star Wars Insider that finally revealed the cheat code to unlocking the Naboo Starfighter. And it's just like,
Yeah.
oh. And it's like,
Back when video games kept cool secrets.
I know, I can't think of a single other game that kept something like that cool as a secret unlock for
Yeah.
over 5 months, like 5 months or longer, however long it was. I don't remember. This game came out like November 98, and then Star Wars came out like what, May of 99?
I think around May, because
Yeah.
it was still in theaters when my birthday came around in June.
Yeah, so I mean, like, just one of gaming's best kept secrets, and I'm just like still blown away by it to this day. The fact that it was not spoiled in any way, shape, or form before that movie came out. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously the internet wasn't as prevalent of a thing, but still, like, somebody wanted to like be like, check this out, guys, check this out. We got
Oh,
something
yeah.
really
Well,
cool
and I mean,
here.
also for the time, because in '98 people weren't decompiling N64 games.
No,
Yeah.
So it's like there was really no way to know that that existed unless somebody inside the company shared it.
Yeah.
So
And I can't remember. I think this one came out before episode 1 as well, because it came out, I think, maybe a month or two after the N64 version. I don't quite remember for the PC version. But they just released an update for the PC version after that, just had the Naboo Starfighter unlocked by default. So when you buy the game today on Steam or GOG, like, it already has the Naboo Starfighter unlocked for you. Like, it's pretty cool. But PC version is a interesting beast that I'll definitely be talking about more in a minute. But
Yeah, there was a lot of cheat codes, I know.
there's so
there's
many.
a ton. There's
There's
a ton of
so
cheat
many.
codes. Which
I
I
mean,
mean, I love that they did that because it's that era where you still could do that before it died out. You don't see that anymore, like having a cheats menu in your game.
yeah.
Um,
So I mean, like, got 2 whole pages in the strat guide just for cheats. I mean, got 10 on this just on these pages alone, and this isn't even all of them from what I remember. But yeah, there's so many good ones. So I mean, you could do. Oh, that's right, the audio
well, I
test.
love
Oh
some
man,
of
so
them
many good ones,
like
man.
some of them were funny or insulting because the one I'll remember, you got younger siblings who need help. I think it was I Give Up.
Yep,
That like gave you extra lives.
yep. It gave you unlimited lives.
Oh, unlimited. Okay.
Unlimited. Yes.
Unlimited lives. That's funny just because you're like, yeah, I give up. You have to tell the game that you failed. The disrespect.
The disrespect.
Oh, see, here's a
Uh,
bunch of other interesting stuff too. It's like you could use cheat codes to unlock the TIE Interceptor, Millennium Falcon, and all that, but they also had Ace mode locked behind a cheat code that would become an actual unlock in Rogue Squadron 2 and 3. So, like, you could do Ace mode, so enemies would shoot at you way more. This radar code, I don't think I've actually ever really tried this one, but like the radar in Rogue Squadron 1 isn't super great. It just shows you which direction a ship's in, and then Rogue Squadron 2 and 3 added depth that you could use to know if a ship was above or below you. And so there's a code that's just simply radar, and apparently it adds the depth for enemy positions into Rogue Squadron 1. So I really want to try that after this recording.
Man, that would have made some of those levels so much easier.
Yeah, it really would have.
Because,
But
dude, I'm thinking with that one level where you're flying around the city and you're trying to defend the Y-Wings, and you got turrets in the mountains and turrets in the city,
Yep.
and they're all at different heights.
Yep.
Like, it's so annoying to see a red dot on the radar, and you're like, where is this dumb thing?
Yep.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, Gerard 5. That's one of my favorite levels, though. Like, it's not a very long level, but it's so fun to me, just going in and just demolishing all that infrastructure and being like, all right, Y-Wings, go to town while I just take out the stupid TIE Interceptors the rest of the mission. That level actually has some really interesting triggers to complete it. You can actually beat that level in like a minute, I think. I don't remember what the actual triggers were, but I did it for the Retro Achievement run. But it's like, you just have to kill, like, I don't even remember. I think it's like the missile turrets, the big turret, and then like 2 other things, and it's just like, yeah, level done. Or no, you have to, I think it only counts when one final ship gets disabled because the Y-Wings are disabling it. So it's like you have to kill this, and then disable that ship, and that's what ends it fast, I think.
Yeah, I was like, that's one of those because there aren't too many, I think, RNG elements in this game, but I think
No.
how well your allies do differs
It
because
can.
sometimes they're really fast and sometimes they suck.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about this game. It doesn't really have true AI like other games do, because like they just had memory limitations. So most, not all, I think there's like 1 or 2 enemies in a couple different missions that actually have an actual AI, and that's why I call them hunter killers, because they'll actually come and attack
there's
you.
TIE interceptors, right? There's a couple
Usually
levels
TIE
where
interceptors.
you get a super aggro TIE interceptor.
Yeah, so I always gave those the nickname of hunter killers because they weren't on a scripted path. So you play through this game, and everything is on a scripted path. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. It's just going to patrol a single area. So it's like, Nona, the third level in the game, is a perfect example of this. Nona can spawn in one of three places, and you'll just have random TIE fighters just flying circles in the other two unoccupied places at any time. And then, of course, when the bombers spawn in, they always come on the same path, so you can just literally just fly in circles to get behind them again. Gerard 5, the one we were just talking about, when the TIE Interceptors come in, they always spawn like one over here, one up high, and they do their circles. Corellia, the city mission where you're the snow speeder with the AT-ATs coming in at you. The bombers are always on a set path there, and later on the TIE fighters are on a set path. Like, it's all set. It's all scripted. It's not until you get to a couple of the later missions. What was it? Chandrilla, I think.
Whatever the one is with the V-Wing where you're fighting the Devastator.
Yeah, that one has a hunter killer in it too.
That one's got an aggro.
Yeah, that one's got one in there.
He's a grumpy boy.
Yeah, so you always know when you come across an enemy that isn't scripted because all of a sudden you're actually dying.
Yeah.
Well, it shows how good of a job they did, though. You know, it's like even with the AI, being scripted, like it still feels really natural, really organic.
Yeah,
It's masterful.
it masks it so well because like even your allies are just on a set path. Like there's no true diversity in their paths. From what I've ever been able to tell. Someone can actually me on that, but I think that's pretty much it because like this is one of the most technically impressive N64 games there is in my opinion because it uses so many advanced features. So I mean that's why it took so many more years for this game to even become playable in emulation compared to other N64 games. And
Factor 5 are masters of their craft.
They really
have
were.
Microcode, right?
Yes. They made it so that the cartridge itself acted as system RAM. So I mean, you look at the texture work in this game even, and it's more advanced than anything else you really get in other N64 games outside of a few others. Because I mean, that was one of the N64's biggest downflaws was the fact that its texture memory was so limited. So I mean, you have a big ol' area and they just stretch a big old texture on it and look like crap. And it's like, you could see that kind of on this LucasArts logo here on the mountain. Like you can kind of see that's kind of like a stretch thing, just to kind of give an example. But it's like, as you play through the game, like that's not the norm. It's kind of just, like you'll find it in a couple levels like Death Star and this Factor 5 logo a little bit, but like, a lot of the levels, like, just look so good. Terrain, maybe not the best, but, like, more than adequate to not care, in my mind.
I mean, it's definitely one of those games that's best played on a CRT, because when you get that proper CRT blur, you don't notice. You really don't notice,
Yeah. Well, I mean, N64 and all of its games, like, -2, always look better on a CRT, because that CRT look was such an essential look for it. It's like people talk about how N64 graphics don't look good today, and it's like they look fine if you're using them on the tech they were designed for. Like I hook up a N64 to a CRT, I'm like, yeah, this is still really gorgeous. Like, is it as sharp as like a PS1 or Saturn version of the game? Nah. But I mean, when you're using composite cables, like it kind of evens out in the end anyway. But like, it's true that Saturn and PS1 can look better on digital displays. But man, I don't know. I've always preferred the way N64 games look in a lot of multi-plat games. I mean, there's not many multi-plat games, but like Army Men Air Attack and all that, like N64 version all the way.
Battle Tanks.
Battle Tanks Global Assault was awful on PS1. Don't bring that nonsense up. But
that is a shame.
Yeah,
it is a disgrace. But anyway, even then though, while I played a lot of this on the N64 for this discussion, I did end up picking up the GOG version because it's on $3. It's $3 sale right now. It's like might as well. And even at a higher resolution, it still looks beautiful.
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't hold up, but it's timeless. There's a timeless aspect to it.
Yep.
Kind of And it does that great approach I think other games like Metroid Prime do, where it's stylized, but it's still air quotes realistic. You
Yep.
know, you can tell that this is supposed to be a real thing. This isn't cartoon logic,
Yeah.
you know. So they play to the strengths of the technology they were on.
Yeah. And like it is very detailed. Like there's a lot of details in each of the ship models and each of the enemy ship models. Like it's incredible. And that's the thing too. Like people talk about how N64 wouldn't be capable of doing a lot of stuff that came out back then. And it's like actually the opposite is true. The N64 would have been capable of every single game. Of course there would be sacrifices in audio. And then we kind of had that talk about how like making a multi N64 cartridge thing would have been feasible with memory cards, but the cost of cartridges would have made it prohibitive. So like even longer games could have been possible. Whereas Rogue Squadron, the way they built it, the way it looks, like I don't think that's possible on any other platform that was available then. Like maybe
Yeah, that's a
Saturn.
beautiful shot right there.
Maybe Saturn would have done it with its dual CPU, but like it would have lost the feel if it had been multi-plat. If it had been on PS1.
Yeah.
Like there would have been
Yeah.
too many limitations on
And I think a big part of that is with
what
their
it could have done.
microcode, because it being on the N64 only let them really focus and nail in the microcode,
Yeah.
which is something they wouldn't be able to do if it was on PlayStation as well.
No, like that's the thing. Like it's so well designed for the hardware, like it just would not have been the same game. Like could it have been possible in some form? Oh yeah, absolutely. But like the form that it is, like what we got here would never have made it to PS1.
Yeah.
And the frame rate would have been abysmal. I mean, the frame rate's already abysmal on N64. Yeah, it's solid enough, and we're from the generation that didn't care about that crap usually, so like it worked out for the time it was in. And then of course, if you play it today on PC, you can have it in a locked 60 FPS, but the problem with the PC version is that it has a friggin' camera bug. So as soon as you accelerate your ship, the camera and the ship become detached.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too. I thought I was just doing something stupid.
Nope.
You know, I was like, why is the camera changing?
Nope.
You're like, apparently playing the PC version was the mistake.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
So,
thankfully,
but-
I played most of it on the N64.
If you didn't meet like this CPU requirement of only 200 megahertz, 166 megahertz, you get a camera bug. So if your hardware was too good, your camera comes detached from the ship, and that is
My
just
computer's definitely
how it
better than
is.
Yes.
And so I think there's a mod that fixes it. I've never gotten it to work. So every time a level starts, it's like hitting. I think it was the numerical keys that let you change the camera. So you have to change to the like close back camera. So you know the camera just gets shoved right up into the X-wing's butt right there. And then you can play through the game just fine. But again, as soon as you close those S-foils, it starts pulling back really bad, and then it will kind of come back, and then you just press it again to make sure it gets back up there. But like the
Well, I'm
default
glad to know I
camera
wasn't
does not work on PC by default when you install it.
Yeah, because I've played hours of this game on the N64. I've played maybe 2 hours on PC, and I was like, what? And most of that time was spent setting it up, because setting up controllers on the PC version is stupid.
It's not too bad, thankfully, and at least it supports X input.
Yeah.
But I mean, knowing what each
Like,
control
well,
does, that is definitely
I
a
mean,
problem.
I had to hit like Control J or something to get it to detect. I was like, okay.
Oh, did you? Dude, that's usually
Yeah.
a problem with the PC version of Battle for Naboo, not Rogue Squadron. Normally, Rogue
No,
Squadron's
I
good to
had that
go.
problem on Rogue Squadron. Okay.
Oh, that's funny.
I guess special or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the PC version of Battle for Naboo, can't talk. PC version of Battle for Naboo, however, very solid port. Way better than the port of Rogue Squadron, unfortunately, but I love both these games so much. Anyway, let's.
I'm curious. You know, since we're talking about this port, you know, I had years ago had an irrational old man yells at a cloud moment because so I wasn't at the time. I was not aware that PC port even existed. I thought this was a standalone N64 game trapped on that console, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and was scrolling and it might have been a banner. It was like during one of the Star Wars sales, and it was on my PlayStation 4, and they had Rogue Squadron for sale on the PS4, and I'm like, what is this abomination? They ported my N64 goodness into a Sony console. It's like, no,
Was
no, no,
that
no,
Rogue
no, no, my
Squadron?
friend. We were at war with these people.
Was that Rogue Squadron? I thought that was Jedi
Shadows of the
Starfighter.
Empire.
I thought that was the Starfighter series that got ported to PlayStation.
Could double check. I'm pretty sure that was available.
So I only know about the N64 PC version of this one.
And I imagine they probably ported the PC version, right?
Well, I mean, if it got ported, it's going to be based on the PC version, that's for sure. Dude, I just thought about, like, if they decompile Rogue Squadron, how we could get, like, the PC version we were always meant to get of this game, and I just got goosebumps. Holy crap.
You mean
Proper
like
widescreen.
how they decompiled Legend of Zelda and now they're working on Mario 64?
Yeah, well, Mario 64 was
Mario
first.
Kart, sorry,
Yeah,
Mario Kart
Mario
64,
Kart, yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not thinking big enough. VR.
Yeah, see, that would be a
Imagine
possibility, too.
this in VR.
That would be a possibility, too. But, I mean, just widescreen, ray tracing, like...
Ooh.
Ooh. Anyway. So I talked earlier about how the AI isn't actual AI, but it's scripted. On modern systems, the AI is super noticeable in its pathing too, because of the higher resolution being one thing, but they also shake up and down as they fly. It's hilarious. Like they'll just be like, like they don't feel like they're flying anymore. Like in N64, it's like, yeah, they're flying. Yeah, they're still flying. On PC, it's like someone's holding them on a string and like moving them around the field of battle. Like it's hilarious. So, just one of those things. And because of that, and because of the higher frame rate, and because of how much smoother you can get controls, PC version of this game is ridiculously easy. Like PC is complete easy mode. If you played this game on N64 and found it to be very difficult, it's like just load it up on PC and like it's so easy. Like it's kind of nuts how much easier it is. And I mean, again, performance helps with that, but figure out a way to deal with the camera bug. Like you'll be getting golds in this game, like no problem on the PC version if you had problems on N64. But as a result, I still prefer to play the N64 version of this game. Like, don't have to worry about things being glitched out, usually. There is one level on N64 that I never enjoy going back to replay, and that is the Talaran level. And
that's the one with the gas, right?
Yeah, it's the Cloud City clone.
Yeah, Cloud City one, yeah.
And the reason why I hate playing that level so much is because...
You're going to say what I think you're going to say. Well, go keep talking.
Yeah. So that level has so much happening, so many effects that it lags more than most other levels. And apparently when this game falls below a certain threshold, your shots will phase through things and hit other things. So the whole point of that level is to shoot these gas cans that are on a platform, and you want to hit the Imperial ones and not the civilian ones. So you'll be shooting at the Imperial ones, and it'll just go through the Imperial one and hit the civilian one behind it, and you're like, oh, well, hey, there it is right there even. So you can see the civilian and Imperial ones, the difference between them. So you're shooting at that Imperial one at the wrong angle. All of a sudden, you're killing the civilian one behind it. And later in the level, you have to shoot these turrets that are on the platform, and you'll be shooting at the turret. The bullets will go through and hit the gas cans, costing you your gold. Like, this level is the one I hate playing the most in the entire game. And one thing we failed to mention when we were going on and off about Rogue Squadron's graphics, it makes use of the expansion pack. And so when you add in the expansion pack, if you're just running a base N64, the menus are 480i, gameplay 240p. If you have the expansion, you get 480i menus, 480i gameplay, and when you're on a CRT, 480i looks fine. And if you have a proper upscaler, 480i looks fine. But it comes at a performance hit. So whenever I load up, you see how crappy it runs right there. But when I load up Talaran, I typically tend to set the system back to 240p to try to help with performance. Doesn't really do enough, but it can help a little bit. But yeah, like that level is the worst on N64. To me, like I don't enjoy replaying that level. You load it up in the PC version and you're just beating it instantly, like no problem. But like I still prefer N64 version. Like it's just a harder game.
So that
Yeah.
wasn't what I was gonna say. What I was gonna say is, you know, you got the Imperial ones and the civilian containers. If you use the Millennium Falcon, its auto-targeting is indiscriminate. You cannot use the Millennium Falcon. It'll just shoot all the containers.
Well, I mean, if we're just gonna be honest here, you shouldn't ever want to use the Millennium Falcon for any reason in any Rogue Squadron game because it's a big flying hunk of crap. Like this game, this game has directly led to my dislike of the Millennium Falcon and Han Solo as a character in Star Wars. He
Wow,
brags
that's
about his big giant piece of junk, and it's like, yeah, it is a big pile of heaping junk, dude. Like, there's nah, freaking plot armor in the movies. This ship sucks.
Hold on. You can't let the expanded universe ruin the core, okay? Like, because that's,
Sure I
that's
can.
what this is. This game is expanded, okay? Like you don't get to let the expanded universe go back and taint the original.
No. See, when you learn that the thing that is being idolized is actually a piece of crap, you sure as heck can let that affect your outlook on other parts of it.
Nah, fam. It's like there's like look. And people can go complain in the comments, and that's fine because I won't read it, so it won't bother me. You know, it's like there's 4 Star Wars movies, the original trilogy and Rogue One. Okay, that's the universe. You know, you can live happy because that's my expanded universe. Rogue One, I threw that in there. That didn't used to be there. You know. Because then you got a prequel that actually enhances the original instead of crapping all over it. But
Oh, I love that. I love the salt.
yeah,
Oh, it's so good. He
I-
misses
oh,
out
man,
on so much cool Star Wars stuff because of it, though. Like he gets mad at me for saying the Millennium Falcon's
for me
bad.
to go into this. Like we don't have the time for me to go into this and just piece by piece start shredding the expanded universe and the stupid crap they do.
Oh my
But-
gosh.
Yeah.
All right,
But
let's do that
Hey,
for the next
anyone
discussion.
watching this, go into the comments and tell Ice, because I'm not going to read it, what your favorite part of the expanded universe is, and then you can poke him and ask him to please come tell me, and I'll wave it off. But pretend like I'm going to listen to your feedback. It's okay.
Dude,
Ice at least
just
read-
all you need from the expanded universe right now is Thrawn. Like, let's be honest with ourselves. Like, Thrawn's the best
Hey,
character in Star Wars.
here's the funny thing. So I haven't read the Thrawn stuff, but just everybody's like, a family friendly term for this. Overexcitement for this character just taints my perception before I even get into this. So I'm like, everybody is way too hype and too excited for this character. Like,
See, I felt the same way, and then I decided to read it, and I was like, nope, deserved. Thrawn is literally the best character in Star Wars to me, like, by a wide margin at this point. Like, it's ridiculous. It's like, Luke Crybaby? Nah. Don't need that guy anymore.
I was like, look. Here's the thing. Yeah, Luke was not a great character, and here's the but you can listen to the interviews with Mark Hamill because realize when they made this movie, they didn't realize there were gonna be more of them, right?
Yep,
This
of
was
course.
a popcorn budget thing, and so that's why he's like, look, I get one movie to have a character arc, and if I'm gonna be the hero at the end, I have to grow from that. So he's like, at the start, I'm gonna be really whiny and obnoxious.
I can't take him.
Yeah, it's like,
Oh my
well, that's why
gosh.
he's like, but I was gonna go to Toshi Station for power converters,
No, see,
It's
like, it's not even that
grown man
bugs me
whining
about
like a
it.
child. But no, it's like it was a stylistic choice that he made because he's like, this is gonna be my character arc, This is how I'm
Yeah.
gonna grow,
I don't have any problem with the way he was depicted. I'm just using it as a funny insult. Like, I'm one of the people
See,
who's
I
like,
was-
you know what? He's a teenager. He keeps getting like the bum end of the stick. All of his friends left the planet. It's like, I'd be a whiny little bee too. Like, let's be honest.
It's kind of like I'm gonna spoil a movie from 2014. I don't care if people haven't seen it, but was it The Force Awakens, the first of the sequel trilogy?
Yeah.
When Kylo Ren kind of early in the movie has his meltdown and goes ham with his lightsaber on the console.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, he's definitely that's. I don't know if he's Leia's kid or Luke's kid, but that's Skywalker blood through and through. Temper tantrum, whiny baby nonsense.
Oh my
That is
gosh.
Skywalker blood through
Yeah.
and through.
Oh, I wish
So,
so hard I could have enjoyed those
Skywalker
movies.
was kind of a crybaby too.
you know,
I
it's like-
wish I could have enjoyed those movies, but oh well. It's like I enjoy like 99% of what Star Wars puts out. Like even if other people don't, it's like I'm willing to look into this lore building, world building. Like people complain about the Disney Plus shows like in their pacing. It's like, dude, I love this. I love all this extra crap they're throwing in here, even if it doesn't serve any purpose.
No, I will say that season 1 of Mando felt superb. I love that. That's some expanded universe I'll accept.
Yeah.
Season 2 was a commercial for all the other stuff Disney was going to do, so that pissed me off.
Oh man, it's like some of the choices. Yes, I'm questionable about them. I don't think they chose great actors and actresses for a lot of it, but I mean, I can still enjoy the story. I think that's important. But anyway, regardless, Rogue Squadron, story of Rogue Squadron. Rogue Squadron's story is super epic, and one of my favorite ones from the Rogue Squadron trilogy because it is pretty much all 100% original content. Like none of it is based off the movies until you get to the 2 bonus missions of Hoth and Death Star. And I loved that because it's like, as much as I love Rogue Squadron 2, it started this YouTube channel. I love that game to death. It's one of my favorites too. You can't deny that almost all of its major moments come from movies. So I got Battle of Endor, Battle of Hoth, Death Star. It's like, okay, I already know this story. So like the key points of that game for me were the rest of the missions that didn't take place in it, which was cool. And so Rogue Squadron 1, the whole game is original. The whole game takes place between the movies, and it's really cool. And I love how it's separated into its chapters because like chapter 1, you establish like Rogue Squadron going off and doing missions to like help the rebellion, like all of them are. But chapter 2, you get Case and Moore at the end of Gerard 5, who decides to defect, and she's like, here's an Imperial installation you could go attack. Here's an Imperial installation you could go attack. And you begin doing hit and runs on Empire infrastructure, which is like, this is cool. And then Wedge, ace pilot he is, gets shot down and captured by the Empire. So then you have to go and rescue him. And then
Doesn't he get shot down in the first mission too?
yes, he does. Like they made
Like,
Wedge look
yeah.
like a little.
He got taken out by a probe droid.
Yeah, they make Wedge look like such a punk in this game, and I don't like that because Wedge is supposed to be one of the best pilots, you know. So it's like they gave him the bum end
And
of
then
the
he
stick.
cheats in the
Maybe
Beggar
that
Canyon
rogue droid
race.
was using.
I'd cheat in the
aimbot.
Beggar Canyon race.
I wanted to think that probe droid used aimbots. That's how
It
got
does.
away.
It does. It's okay. He got hacked. It's okay. But then like the story expands into like a personal grudge grudge match against Moff Searden, and you spend a bunch of missions like trying to stop what he's doing, his attack on I think it was Chandrilla, right? And then you go and finally get to take him out. And then the last mission of the game, the last regular mission of the game, is set after Return of the Jedi. Like it gave us a post Return of the Jedi setting of Imperial Remnant taking on, trying to destroy Mon Calamari. So obviously Admiral Akbar's world. And I thought that was just the coolest mission at the time. Like not a very difficult mission, very simple mission, but like the setting, the water, the little cities, like, oh, it was beautiful.
That's because that's the one they give you the V-Wing, which is the most OP ship in the game.
V-Wing is fun. No, but no, here's my first embarrassing story of the night, though. Like, we're actually going to share some really embarrassing childhood moments here. So, this game came out 1998 when I turned 12. So, bunch of raging little kid hormones going on there. And so, you're in middle school and you got your crushes and all that. So, like, I'd pretend like I'm saving my crush from the World Devastators in the freaking calamari mission. Wiz looked very concerned.
I was very concerned. When a story starts out, I'm going to tell you an embarrassing story. And I was 12 with raging hormones. I was like, good heavens, where is this going? Like, especially because I was sitting here, like, Rolodexing this story in my head. And I was like, are there any female characters? I'm like, I guess the defector is female, but you don't even see her, right? And I'm like,
not really.
Where are we going with this?
No. This was pure. Like, oh no, she's gonna die. I gotta go save her.
Okay. I was doing a concern for a moment. But...
You were. It was amazing. But yeah, so there we go. There's one of my embarrassing childhood moments. I think I've turned a little more red here. Even like this still embarrasses me to even admit that it happened, and it happened for a while.
Oh man!
I think there was like 5 different people that it went through.
TMI.
Yeah, TMI. Yeah. Hardcore TMI.
I was like, I don't know that I'd call it an embarrassing story, but any of the missions that had the Y-Wing, man, like, I would bronze medal those so often because of time. Because you give me that ion blaster, and I was like, I'm going to chase the TIE fighters down. I'm not going to shoot them with the lasers. I'm going to hit them with the ion and just let them plummet to their doom and explode on the ground. I want that pilot to know it's coming.
Yep.
It's like I want him to feel the fear. Like not just flying around and suddenly explodes and doesn't know what's happened. It's like he needs to see the ground coming up at him.
He needs to see his systems die. His control yoke.
It's like he chose the wrong side and he's gonna pay for it.
Oh man, that's brutal. That's brutal right there.
I'm like, this is some Axis and Allies level play, okay? He's on the wrong side of history.
Yeah. I had that same thought with like shooting down ties and that level. Yeah, it's like because it does that high pitched whine as it goes, and then it crashes in the ground. But here it just goes and just fades out. It's like, how long are they gonna fall? They're gonna have a moment to contemplate their horrible decisions.
Oh my gosh.
As the gas giant slowly compresses them and they die. A horrible
beautiful.
death.
Oh man, that's beautiful. And then that would actually be how you unlock the TIE Fighter in Rogue Squadron 2. You actually have to go and ion cannon it until it hits the ground. So good stuff. Oh man. I think
take a second to talk about sound design too.
Yeah, we'll do that in a second. Like, I just want to finish off the story though, because like it just really gives you such a great arc of taking on the Empire. Like, you get defections. Like, there's 2. You get to see how Crix Median comes to the rebellion. He's featured in Return of the Jedi. He's the one that's doing the briefing on how to take out the Death Star 2. So you get to witness how he defects and joins the rebellion. You get Kason Moore, who defects. Then the hit and runs again, like, just all the different storytelling plots. It's just so well done for just a little arcade flight sim. Like, it went way harder than it needed to, and I just appreciate it so much for that. And then you get the bonus missions. So the first bonus mission in this game is racing through Beggar's Canyon in a T-16 Skyhopper. One vehicle we did not mention earlier because it's the only level you could play it in. And
it sucks.
It is what it is. But the race itself has 3 difficulties, which is really fun. And of course, Wedge is difficulty 3. And there's a lot of twists and turns in that, and he never has to slow down, really. Like, he'll be able to keep going as fast as possible, and if you get good enough at the game, you can kind of do that too. But there's actually, like, 2 points in the canyon where you could just shoot over the rim if you're low enough, and, like, just outright just cheese him, like, which is amazing. And, I mean, I'm just gonna admit it, I don't want to bother with that. Like, it's funner just to, like, suck it, Wedge.
See, for me, the strat is always try to stay on his tail the whole way, and then like right before the end, there's a tiny fork, and if you go left, he goes right, and the right side is slightly longer,
Yep.
so you can get ahead of him there.
Yep. There's literally a little divot
But
halfway through. You can just go up and over and skip a huge turn.
That's funny. That's funny. I didn't know that.
Um,
That probably was more fun, because man, that race is trash. Because if you hit him, it's your fault.
Yep.
But if he hits you, it's your fault.
Yep. I shoot
So
him
it's like,
down.
He just plows through things, and if you're in his way, that's your fault.
Yep.
How dare you cheat?
Yep. And then of course the next bonus mission is Death Star attack, and this is the most wonkiest version of attacking the Death Star that you can ever imagine. Like, I don't know why it has
90-degree
so
turns?
many 90-degree turns in a canyon
It's just
run.
like in the movie, okay? 90-degree turns all over.
And the trench is... Here's my thing about the trench run, though. Like, in the movie, it depicts the trench as wide enough to have an X-Wing with
X-Wings.
2 X-Wings on either side.
Mhm.
And Rogue Squadron 2 doesn't depict it that wide. Like, Rogue Squadron 2's canyon is, like, pretty narrow. And so it's like, in Rogue Squadron 1, at least you have this giant freaking A trench, but, like, the layout of it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But, I don't know, like, it goes back to that thing we were talking about earlier about the scale. It's like, this is almost the right scale. It needs to be shrunk maybe by about half. And it needs to be a straight friggin' line.
They also fill it with lots of random trash, you know.
Yeah,
They're
millions
like,
of turrets. But I mean, there's turrets in the movie.
and not even just the turrets, but just like random columns and pillars and stuff.
Yeah, that too. And there are TIE fighters that come in and attack you at times too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a great trench run, yet
No.
there's stuff about it that is... I kind of wish that made it into the real version of Rogue Squadron 2's trench run.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. And then finally, the
Yeah.
last one is Hoth, Battle of Hoth. And again, it takes a lot of liberties with the Battle of Hoth, but it's a pretty decent bonus mission, and I enjoy that one. But, I think we can all agree, though, that one of the worst missions in this game is Escape from Fest. I think nearly everyone can agree that that is one of the worst missions of this game, where you have to go and rescue the 3 stolen ATPTs from AT-ATs and TIE bombers, and it's just a disastrous level.
Yeah, honestly, all the levels in this game that feature AT-ATs kind of suck.
Dude, I love them. I love them, except for Fest.
First one's not too bad. I mean,
don't
yeah,
the battle of Hoth isn't so bad, but the other AT-AT levels suck.
Oh man.
Sounds like a skill issue.
Kinda. No, I will give Wiz this on Corellia, because you start the mission and you're just patrolling the area, and it's like, go take out these pro droids. Okay, now go take out the TIE bombers over here. Okay, now we want you to fly all the way back over here to go and take out some ATSTs and stuff. Now we want you to fly back over here and then fly back over. Like, it's a lot of back and forth in that level.
A lot of back and forth thing. And then they're like, okay, here's the snow speeder. You've never used it before. Here's the tow cable. The camera's garbage. Yeah. Also, you're not on a flat open space. You're on a mountainside. So have fun with that.
Yeah. I love the game. But yeah, I got so frustrated. I remember getting super frustrated at that. So I do agree with that. Like, 8-year-old me was not ready to figure out how to tie up the AT-ATs.
Oh man, 12-year-old me loved tying up AT-ATs. Because that was one thing I really learned how to do in Shadows of the Empire. That was my favorite thing to do in that game, was taking out the AT-ATs.
Well, it controlled better in Shadows of the Empire, I would argue.
Not really. The best thing about Shadows of the Empire is
just too open. I mean, I don't know. Like,
the terrain is open, but the thing about Shadows of the Empire, you can control your speed when you're doing the AT-AT. In Rogue Squadron, you are stuck at the same speed. So in Shadows of the Empire, you could get the tow cable attached, get your rotation in order, and then just jam on the accelerator and do it really fast.
Yep.
In Rogue Squadron 1, you can't do that. You're stuck going very slow. But I need to give the Snowspeeder some props because, again, it's a hovercraft, but it has individual brakes.
Yep.
And it is the coolest thing to see in this game because it's like all the other ships, like, yeah, you brake. In the Snowspeeder, it's like, all right, I want to turn right really good, so I'm just going to turn on my right brake with the R button, and all of a sudden, I'm turning very sharply. And then if you want to do a left turn, you hit Z, and you do your left turn really sharply, and it's really nice. And then if you hit both at the same time, you slow down you slow down way more, but you don't get as tight turns. And it's like, this is a level of detail that is just so obscene. I love it.
So the thing is, too, you said something earlier that I caught and kind of hung on to. You were talking about the story, I think, but you said that this game goes a lot harder than it needed to. And honestly, I think you could apply that to a lot of things.
You really
one,
can.
like starting with the ship selection, like how many ships you can play. Because, like I mentioned, I used to play Star Wars TIE Fighter and Star Wars X-Wing, and it's like you have a whole smorgasbord of ships to choose from in
Yeah.
this game.
I
And then you know, granted, when you consider like the number of secret levels and stuff, it's like there's a lot of missions in this game.
Yeah.
And you talk about things like, the detailing they did on the ships, the attention to things like those brakes and everything, like the paying attention to the scale of the world, like just across the board, like a lot of care and attention and meticulous planning and attention to detail went into this across the board.
It was
It's
made by
pretty
Star Wars
fantastic.
fans.
It was made by Star Wars fans who had passion, but also the skill to do it right.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
passion alone doesn't get you there.
No, there's so
And
many
the
bad Star
restraint
Wars
to do
games,
it.
unfortunately.
And the restraint to do it right,
Yeah.
because there are a lot of people that make games for IPs they love, but it's like, but then they want to put their spin on it.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is a Star Wars game. It's not Star Wars as Factor 5 interprets Star Wars.
Yeah. And that's a big deal, definitely.
They didn't hire Star Wars haters. 343 should take some advice.
You mean like hiring a screenwriter to do a live action Dragon Ball Z movie who's not a fan of Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah.
You
Or
mean like that
hiring people that
situation?
hate
Or
your
Last
game to
Airbender.
make the next one.
Or oh my god, don't say that to me.
But
Anyways,
I was thinking about the ships again. Like, the only real rebellion ship that's not featured in the movies is the B-Wing. That's like the only one missing from this game is the B-Wing, and that obviously made it into Rogue Squadron 2. And then as for Imperial ships, like, you get your base TIE Fighter, you get your TIE Interceptor. So, like, those are the two TIE Fighter forms that are featured in the movies besides Vader's TIE Advance. And so we don't get the TIE Advance in this one. That's in Rogue Squadron 2 as well. But it's like, it represents everything that was here for this era of Star Wars. Like, and I think that was cool. Like, we aren't really missing anything. It's like, could we have gotten Slave 1 as a flyable ship? That would have been cool. But again, that made it to Rogue Squadron 2. So, like, it did come eventually. And then we also get that special TIE Fighter for the last regular mission. So, like, we do get one special edition as well. So, like, it's just cool. And then again, probe droids are featured. Stormtroopers are featured. We have a couple of different shuttles. We got Lambda shuttles and then the other heavier transport shuttle. We got AT-ATs, we got ATSTs, we got ATPTs. And little tank. Like, there's the little tank one, too. I don't even know what that one's called. Turbo lasers, missile launchers. Like, there's a lot of freaking diversity in this game.
And they have the correct sounds.
Yeah. We'll lead into the sound design now for you. Take us away.
I wasn't trying to lead. No.
No. Take us away into sound. Let's go.
Yeah. Sound is beautiful. Like the Star Wars tracks we know and love are great, but like the original stuff they wrote sounds like it came from the movies. It's fantastic. The whole game is completely voiced, which is incredible. You know. Like, the only thing I don't like about the voices is, as cool as the radio filter is, I feel like sometimes it's a little too heavy. Like, sometimes it's like, wait, what did they say? I didn't catch that. But outside of that, like, It's fantastic sound design.
Yeah. And I mean, when it comes to the voices, you need to remember this is an N64 cartridge. This isn't even a big N64 cartridge. This is a 16 megabyte N64 cartridge. Like, it's not even using 32 and definitely not using 64. Battle for Naboo would use a 32 megabyte cartridge. And so this is 16 megabytes that they were able to pull this game off in. So, I mean, a lot of that filtering you're talking about is just compression, unfortunately.
True.
Like, but despite that, like, it still portrays urgency and other different emotions as it's playing, which I think is the greatest part about it.
Yeah, they didn't phone it in. Like, they're committed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the voice work is great. I mean, like you get, you know, a voiceover mission intro for each stage, the mission briefing you get.
Craft
And
descriptions.
then, craft description, the updates mid-level, like the opening, all the movie sequences they play, everything like that. It's crazy that they didn't fill the cartridge just with the audio almost.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
like there's so much voice work in this game that it's kind of wild that it's on an N64 cartridge.
yeah.
And makes time for another drive-by and be like, Blizzard, are you sure you couldn't have got more voiceovers on StarCraft 64? It seems like you should have been able to. Like, it seems like we should have got a little bit more on there.
If they had upped it to a 64 megabyte cartridge, I think we could have seen everything. Because, like, the missions take up a lot of space for StarCraft and Brood War. The maps take up a lot of space for StarCraft and Brood War. And, I mean, that's a miracle port of a game. Like, I love StarCraft 64. I know everyone hates that game, but I love that. I love that version of that game for what it was.
Fantastic.
Like, it's incredible.
More units on the N64 version than you can on the PC version, so you can have bigger squadrons of armies.
Yep. And I mean, you also need to remember Resident Evil 2 is on N64, and that was a dual disc game on PS1, just because they didn't have just enough space. It's about a 1.1 gig game versus a 700 megabyte disc. So, like, a lot of the data between those two discs is the same, but the fact that we got that on a single N64 cartridge with like everything intact, like it still has cutscenes, it still has the music you even had in the environment, the sound work even had surround sound added to it. Like, it's amazing, but really good developers could do with the system when they wanted to do it.
Yeah. And the voice acting itself is great. Like, they did not phone it in, right? Like, they're like, you feel the urgency in their voices as they talk and things are happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing to note too. What Factor 5 did with this game when it came to the voice work, Nintendo licensed that out for a lot of their future games. Like, go load up Pokemon Stadium. Voice compression from Factor 5 right there on the title screen for Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2. I think there was a couple other games, but I can't think of them off the hand. But like, when someone wanted to make like an actual immersive N64 experience, they could do it. Obviously, the quality is not as good as what we would have seen on Saturn and PlayStation. Mega Man Legends being a good example to point to for that. It got a port to N64 called Mega Man 64, and the audio compression on that is really bad. But somehow I still enjoy that version of the game more than playing the PS1 version, thanks to its controls. But that's really bad.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say on the sound design. It's like, they sound good. The only thing I would have liked is if they somehow did Doppler effect, but doesn't really matter. It's still fantastic.
Yeah. I just like that we get that authentic sound for a Star Wars game. Like, the lasers sound awesome, explosions sound great.
I did want to say about the sound is, like, each craft even has like their own Luke voices for them. So it's like, if the V-Wing, you overheat, he says, "Oh, my blasters are overheated." And if you get shot in the Millennium Falcon, he goes, "Chewie's gonna be mad."
Yeah. There's a lot of good jokes about it.
Yeah, because they didn't have to do that stuff, but it's cool that they did it. If you get shot in the Y-Wing, he goes, "Man, this ship can take a beating."
Mm-hmm.
It's like, just those personality things that really take it to a different level.
And all of that is repeated on the last mission, because the last mission you play as Wedge. And so Wedge has a lot of those distinct lines as well. Really cool.
Yeah. Which is a
Um,
lot of work to do just for one level, if you think about it.
yeah,
With
because
the
he's not
limitations
flyable in
they
any
had.
other mission.
Yeah. And, it's like, and they had to allocate the precious space in their 16 megabytes to do that.
Yeah. Like, it boggles my mind, because this was still pretty early in N64 life cycle, all things considered. Because
Yeah.
it's like it launched September 96. This came out 98, November 98, I think. So it's like, yeah, 2 years. Like, and this is still one of like the standout highlights of the system in terms of what it was capable of,
I would
given
even dare
care.
to say the generation, like of, that generation of games. It's one
Yeah.
of the standouts.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it has a lot of compromises to the experience, but
Yeah.
audio compression on the voice work, music obviously being one of the biggest ones. But I mean, even in terms of graphics, because this game is pushing so much. Like, obviously the frame rate tanks on original N64 hardware well into the low 20s, maybe even high teens. And again, we didn't care back then like people do today, where they get all butthurt if their 120 FPS game runs at 90. But it does come with the performance saving thing of, hey, there's distance fog. So I think the level that affects me most on is Search for the Nona, just because it's super hazy, very close to you. And that is just a limitation of the hardware, because that is a very heavy terrain level.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of enemies, because they have enemies patrolling each of the 3 areas the Nona could spawn in.
In part because they decided that this was the time to introduce RNG,
Mm-hmm. That's the one moment of RNG in this game, yeah, where Nona spawns. At least that I can remember. But yeah, it's nuts. So it's like, yeah, there's distance fog, but at the same time, it creates this atmosphere of dread, because you're looking for this lost ship and you can't see jack.
Yeah.
And like, yes, it's a technical limitation that it has to have distance fog, and it happens on a lot of other levels as well, but just not to the extent of this one. A lot of levels, actually, like, it's not even really that big of a concern. It's just your bigger land-based ones. So freeing the prisoners out of Kessel, Moff Círdan's Revenge can have it a bit, and then of course Nona Fest a little bit, not as bad. It's well within an acceptable range that it never really bothered me, except for Nona. But even then, it's like, I can appreciate the crap out of it for the atmosphere it makes that mission have. Like, it just, oh, this is nuts. But again, it's a compromise. Battle for Naboo was able to push it out a lot further. They optimized that game engine so much more. Like, Battle for Naboo is just an absolutely insane game visually for the N64. But that's one of the reasons why a lot of people hated the PC version of this game, because it has the same distance fog and same draw distance as the N64 version. So it's like, no, we have way more powerful graphic accelerators now. Why are we limited to this 1994 tech going on here? But
I would argue that you should stick with what the game was developed with in mind. It's one of those, like, yeah, on more powerful hardware, you could remove it, but it was designed intentionally. It's a
yeah,
part of the experience now. They
it
worked
is.
with limitation.
I
'Cause
think a
it's
good
that thing
example to point to that backs up your claim right there. Look at the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, the original PS2 Grand Theft Auto trilogy. You can remove distance fog in those games on their PC versions, and in the new remastered collection, like, the distance fog was broken for a long time after release, and like, those games looked abysmal for it.
Yeah. And a little sidetracked, but like the Battle Tanks clone I'm making, I intentionally added fog in. It's like, because that's just, not only was that the experience, but it's balancing, because it's a 2D arcade shooter. If you can see the entire level, that's gonna break the balance.
Yeah.
that limitation of vision is a part of the experience.
Yeah. I mean, Battle Tanks, that's another one that really had a lot of fog in it for sure.
Yeah, it did. But, like if you remove the fog, and you could see the whole map, like it wouldn't be the same game.
Yeah, it would definitely have to be redesigned to accommodate for that, be it more buildings or whatnot, but yeah.
So that's my tangent. Fog is a game mechanic. It isn't a limitation.
All right. I mean, everyone can decide for themselves how they feel about distance fog. Like, it's never been something that's so egregious that it's ever ruined a game for me. And again, it can really add to an atmosphere if done properly. I mean, look at friggin' Silent Hill, for crying out loud. But yeah, I do want to be fair and say that is a compromise that had to be taken for what this game is pushing with all of its insane levels of detail.
Yeah.
But honestly, when it comes to Rogue Squadron 1, like, again, it's one of my all-time favorite games. I'm nostalgic as heck for it. I am biased as heck for it. Like, I think it is an amazing game. I think it's one of the best flight games that has ever been made for Star Wars. It's like people like X-Wing versus TIE Fighters. Like, yeah, those are great games. They were like really going for a sense of realism with them. I don't enjoy playing them very much. Like, sadly, like I don't enjoy playing them too much. Like, I can enjoy them, but like I would rather have Rogue Squadron.
I would even argue that Star Wars itself is kind of a fantasy, right? So if I play if I'm playing a game set in a fantasy universe with fantasy vehicles, I kind of want to feel the power of that fantasy.
Yeah,
If I
there's something to
wanted
be
to
said for that.
play, yeah, if I wanted to play with realistic flight physics, I'd play like Microsoft Flight Simulator. That's not even a diss, right? But it's like
No, it's
these
not.
are fictional craft with unimaginable technology built into it. Arcade mechanics fits it well.
Yeah, and I mean, even then, it doesn't even take it to that much of an extreme, all things considered. Um, Not like the Starfighter series. Like the Starfighter series, like you could drift and do all this other weird crap with it, and I can't stand those games. Like I tried to beat them so many times, and every time I'm just like, I can't stand playing these. Like Rogue Squadron has me so spoiled. Rogue Squadron 1, Rogue Squadron 2. And that's the thing. Rogue Squadron 2 really dumbed down all the different things you could do in Rogue Squadron 1. Like, we haven't even talked about that. The C buttons let you change your lasers. So the X-Wing has 3 firing modes. You can just do full-on, full blast firing. You could do alternating lasers, or you could do all 4 at once, and each have different firing rhythms. And that's not in Rogue Squadron 2, where you can manually select it. It still appears in the game a little bit. Like, if you look down in the bottom corner when you're playing it, on the right side of the screen, you can see an outline around your special weapon, and that like kind of shows you what your laser status is at, because it'll just full all the way up, and if you just tap it, you'll do the 4 lasers. And if you like tap it at a certain rhythm, I think you could do the offset. I don't remember if that's a thing or not, but like in the N64 one, it's like bam, bottom C, I'm alternating my fire to get better accuracy on these pro droids and Mos Eisley, because one of them's gonna hit.
Yeah.
And it helps you save on accuracy, especially for that level, because they're smaller targets and you're doing full-on laser blasts. Like, you're going to be painting the outline of it pretty hard, but it's like you do the alternating or the 4, you're hitting it easily. And
I didn't even think about that. You're right. Yeah, because that would just count as one shot, right?
Yeah,
so
it's one shot to kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's one of the secrets to getting a higher accuracy rating for that level is just and one of the problems with the Rogue Squadron franchise in general, there's a lot of auto aim on certain craft. So the A-Wing, its lasers will auto aim, and it is so bad, and it is awful. The Millennium Falcon, its turret tries to auto aim at everything. You can never get a good accuracy out of it.
Well, and part of it is like the A-Wing, like you got to get behind whatever you're trying to shoot at, like right behind
really
it,
close,
because like it makes the mistake of shooting at the location of the target and not tracking ahead to where it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't shoot at anything that's crossing in front of you. You'll miss. You have to take your A-wing behind it
Yep.
and run it down.
Yep.
That's annoying. Yeah.
Then, of course,
That's-
the A-Wing
that's
also
what-
has the lowest shields of the Rebel craft, so you get shot down in that way faster. And then, of course, the TIE Interceptor has no shields, so you get capped in that really quick, too. And so that's why one of the funnest challenges in this game is to play Raid on Solist as the TIE Interceptor and beat the level. And it's a very hard challenge on N64 because of how much more accurate everything is and how much more harder the game is in general compared to the PC version. Like, you could do Raid on Solus TIE Interceptor on PC, no problem. Like, you can easily snipe the missiles out of the air on the PC version. Like, it's not a hard challenge on PC. But it's like, you load it up on N64 and it's like, oh man, this is brutal. Oh, love this game. But yeah, I agree with what Zachary said earlier about the soundtrack though, because like they use their own rendition of the Star Wars songs. Like, I don't think there's the actual John Williams versions in this game at all. It's all covers of ones that are like reminiscent of it. So like the title theme and all that, like that's all their own in-house version of it. The original songs again do sound really good, and I just want to again agree with Zachary on that regard. We kind of jumped around a bit there for a second, but
Oh,
yeah.
that's what we do.
That is what we do. It's kind of a free for all in these discussions, and that's why I love them. But yeah, for me, the only thing I really wish this game had was co-op, because like I love co-op.
Co-op anything makes it better.
Yeah, I mean multiplayer would. I'm a big multiplayer guy. Everyone knows I'm a big multiplayer guy. I loved my GoldenEye back in the day, like, and that had just cemented my track as just being a really multiplayer focused person. But it's like I actually would never have wanted like competitive, like versus multiplayer in this. Like, I wanted co-op for this game, and I would have like dreams that this game was co-op, and you could unlock co-op with a Game Shark code, or you could unlock co-op with a passcode that just hadn't been discovered yet because that stupid Naboo starfighter was hidden for so long it gave me trust issues. And so, like, I would constantly be doing searches for, like, multiplayer codes for this game, because people would be like, yeah, you can play a multiplayer with the Game Shark code. I'm like, where's the Game Shark code? Internet, help me! And, of course, it doesn't exist.
No. It's under the truck.
It's under the truck. You gotta use strength. You gotta feint out of the
use strength to
SSN.
move the truck. It's under the truck.
Oh, my gosh. You gotta blow up Jabba's palace, then you can get it.
Nah.
But then, of course, they would finally add co-op into Rogue Squadron 3, and I love it so much, except that it is incredibly unoptimized. Very buggy, sadly, but oh well. You can play Rogue Squadron 2 co-op.
They had a perfect opportunity because they ported Rogue Squadron 2 with 3. They should have just done Rogue Squadron 1 as well and added co-op with that.
And that is called Star Wars Rogue Squadrons for the Nintendo Wii, that remains unreleased to this day despite having been finished. They gave us all the Rogue Squadron games in a single package, and I want to know what Rogue Squadron 1 would have looked like in that game. Would it have been just a remake of the game in the Rogue Squadron 2 and 3 engine? Would it have been the original N64 version? Because they redid missions. They redid things for that game specifically. You can find interviews where Julian is talking about their amazing new version of the Battle of Hoth that combines basically Rogue Squadron 2 and 3's Battle of Hoth into like one ultimate Battle of Hoth thing. And it's like, oh. And it's like, supposedly there's like 2 discs of this game that exist somewhere, and it's like, hopefully someday someone dumps this, because it is 100% finished, but Factor 5 going under made it so it never got released.
Yeah, I mean, just say, like, whoever ended up with those discs, or, former employee, if you had a local copy saved, dev kit, whatever, somebody, you know, I'm not saying to anonymously drop it on the internet, but y'all saw what happened when that, Deadpool trailer mysteriously appeared out of nowhere, and you know, that Ryan Reynolds definitely did not drop. He definitely didn't leak,
Nope.
But it's like, yeah, this it's one of those, I think for Star Wars fans at least, like the white whales, to
Mm-hmm.
have this completed thing out there and just unreleased is like
Yeah.
criminal.
And that's what
Yeah.
sucks too, because Factor 5 came back to life in 2017. Julian brought it back. And to this day, the only thing they've really done was re-release Turrican, and then put that other unreleased Turrican game on the Super NT as part of like the offering for it. And so like they offer a lot of their old games that they developed themselves on their website. Like you can get PC Engine games from Factor 5 on their website, and you can play them in an emulator. Like it's pretty cool.
It hurts, that
Yeah,
like this would have been great if it was like the Halo remastered approach where it's the same engine but with a new graphics engine on top.
that would be fantastic.
Oh, because like I don't want just Rogue Squadron 1, but like done in a new engine. It's like, no, no, no. You have to leave it alone and just
Honestly,
redo the graphics.
yeah, honestly, if you redo the graphics to modern standards and then just fix some of the collision issues, well, I mean, a lot of them would be fixed from the higher frame rate to begin with, but like, just finish up that like 2% of extra polish that would have like made it completely flawless. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
add more ships, even like how cool would that have been? B-wing,
Yeah.
but
On that note, I'm actually very surprised that this game has never been redone in any capacity, considering the following around it.
I don't know,
You
man.
know, like if Disney wants goodwill, they will release that Wii version. You know,
Yeah, like Disney
you
needs
think
goodwill, right?
you think Disney cares what we think?
Oh man,
If that were the case, they wouldn't be doing all these live action movies that nobody wants.
no, it's true. Oh man, it's so
I
true.
was like, sorry.
But
So,
maybe one day, maybe
one
one
thing
day.
aside, it's like Disney. We're not saying we don't want live action remakes. We're saying we want different ones. Okay, I'm gonna two titles I'll throw out there and do with that what you will, Disney. Treasure Planet,
Ooh,
Atlantis: The Lost Empire.
ooh,
Okay,
yes.
there you go. There you go.
ooh.
There you go. It's like, okay, we
I,
we,
ca-
we
I
don't
can
need
I can get behind
we.
that. I
It's
can
like,
get behind both of those.
On that note, did you see that fan made live action trailer for Atlantis?
Yes,
no, I
Oh,
hadn't.
Wiz, yeah,
yes.
some college guys were I don't know who did it, but they did a live action trailer for Atlantis: The Lost Empire, and they had CG. Like it's not just kids in their dorm room. Like it's legit. So
Yeah.
look that up. Actually, I'll
Um,
just send you a link. I'll save you the trouble.
and then if you're gonna do a live action remake, don't destroy the whole meaning of the original movie.
Yeah, yeah,
Looking at
don't
you,
destroy the
Lilo and
whole.
Stitch. I mean, Ohana means family. Family never gets left behind. See ya, Lilo. I'm going to college.
I love how the internet collectively agreed that the no spoilers rule did not apply to the live action Lilo and Stitch.
No, that was
Like
so bad.
day one, everyone's like, "Let me tell you why you shouldn't go see this
That is
movie."
so bad. That is so bad. Let's not have let's not have a main character actually grow and become a good person.
Well,
Let's
I'm more
not have the meaning of the film remain intact. Like how awful. Ugh.
I love Disney, where dreams come true, and CPS takes your kid away.
So bad, dude. I'm sorry. That is so awful.
I'm like,
There's nothing
what
good
kind of
about
ending is
this.
that for the children who are seeing the movie?
Dude,
Uh,
just another little side tangent. Like Lilo and Stitch, like the original animated Lilo and Stitch is like one of the most like emotional roller coaster movies for me, because it's like there's some real family trauma there because of the death of their parents. Lilo is an absolute wreck emotionally, and like just completely, like, she's gonna become a serial killer if something doesn't change with how messed up she is, you know? Like, it's bad. And then, like,
Connie's doing her best, okay?
yeah, she is. I'm not blaming her. Like she is. But she's getting
Yeah, she's got big shoes to
screwed
step
over
into.
right and left too because of the situation. Like, that's the whole point. Like, it is intensely, like, realistic for an animated movie, and it is an emotional roller coaster. And then you get this amazing growth that comes from each of those characters. And then it's just like, nah, you know what? None of that matters. None of that matters. Screw all that. Like,
I don't need
screw
family
you,
when I
Disney.
have education.
Nah, but anyway, side tangent over. Like, I love Lilo and Stitch. Great movie.
Yeah.
I want to go watch it now.
Yeah, that qualifier, Disney. If you do remake Atlantis, don't screw it up. I will pay you money. Just retell the story that's there. And
But no, anyway, going back to Rogue Squadron.
yeah,
Back in 2017, Julian did an interview with IGN talking about different stuff and talked about how he would have loved to have gotten the band, like, get the band back together to port Rogue Squadrons over to the Switch, because Switch was brand new at the time. Obviously, none of that happened. Julian actually ended up getting a position at, like, one of the Epic Game Studios in Germany. I don't remember if that was that one or someone else, but I think that was him. So, I mean, even though he, like, runs Factor 5 still, like, he works for other companies, so that's kind of why Factor 5 doesn't seem to have really done anything, I think. Love to be corrected on all those regards for anyone that is actually still watching this video to this point. But, like, I have hope that maybe we can see a new Rogue Squadron game sometime in the future. We got Star Wars Squadrons a couple years back, and while it tried to take a more realistic approach, like, it had a pretty good following. I think it sold pretty well to show that there is still desire for this style of Star Wars experience. And now that EA doesn't have the exclusive rights, maybe someone is working on a Rogue Squadron 4. Like, how cool would that be?
yeah.
But this franchise is just so special. This first game in the series really proved what could be done with this style of game, and I think it just did it so well. And then they expanded their horizons with Battle for Naboo. A lot of people don't know that this game was also made by Factor 5 and is just a cool evolution of everything that was in Rogue Squadron 1, and adds vehicle-based combat with ground-based levels. That's not a big thing for a lot of people. A lot of people don't enjoy that, and that's fair. But it has both. Like, it has your flight missions and ground missions, and yeah, that's another really well-done game. So if you haven't played that one, like, definitely give it a shot. If you haven't played Rogue Squadron 1, very accessible on Steam or GOG. Look for a patch for the camera bug so that way you can have a good experience. But, like, the game is still accessible. It's still playable on modern systems, and it is still an incredibly good experience, even if the PC version is incredibly easy by comparison to N64. My preferred way of playing the game these days is actually through N64 emulation, because you can upscale the game to 4K and not have to worry about a camera bug. And it looks beautiful. Like, it's great. And then you can overclock the emulated CPU so that way you don't get as many frame dips. Like, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Fantastic game. There's no reason not to play it. I don't have an embarrassing memory, but like I said, this was the game I got in 1998 Christmas, and I remember because my parents weren't big gamers, we had 2 controllers, and they were trying to figure out, like, how does 2-player mode work? And I just remember both of them holding controllers, like, trying to figure it out.
yeah.
So that was a good 1998 morning, Christmas morning memory.
Your parents got you 2 games, and they were both single-player titles. That's rough.
Yes. Yeah.
2 controllers, 2 games, no multiplayer.
Yeah.
Mario Kart. I meant to get Mario Kart.
That came later, but yeah, fantastic game, phenomenal sound design for the time. It's a shame. I wish it did have co-op, but considering how low the FPS gets with just one player,
Oh yeah, it would have been so stripped down.
Yeah, I get why it didn't happen,
Oh, yeah.
but the only thing is I don't understand why this game never got a re-release of some type. Like, yeah, I know Factor 5 ran into legal problems, and that's why that project ended. But I mean,
Yeah.
so hopefully someday, because again, like, I will pay you money, Disney, if I get to play this game in VR. I
Oh,
will
man.
pay you money for this game.
Yeah.
Just do it before the fans do it, because as soon as the fans reverse engineer this,
Compilation.
yeah.
Oh man.
So yeah, like, I will pay
Man.
you money if you do it first, because I would love to play this game in VR at 60 FPS or whatever,
Mhm.
with co-op.
Yeah. There's a lot of exciting things that could come out of this game, but I mean, one of the reasons why we never really saw a re-release like through the Wii Virtual Console, Wii U Virtual Console, they just couldn't handle it. Like the hardware couldn't handle it, wasn't powerful enough to emulate it. Like
Just
the
crazy to think about.
the Wii,
And
the Wii couldn't handle N64 emulation with what we actually had. Like those games are so scripted and like hacked up to actually work on the Virtual Console. Like it's crazy.
N64
Hopefully.
continues to be too powerful of hardware to emulate.
Hey, just remember when the N64 launched, it was the most powerful consumer PC at the time.
Yeah, it's crazy that even today it doesn't emulate well. Hopefully there's a future in that, like, what is it, decompile tool or
Yeah.
whatever. Hopefully, I don't know, but
Well, I mean,
Wiz, your
N64
thoughts?
emulation's fine now. It's just you have to have the PC hardware that can handle it.
Yeah.
And I mean, even like most PCs from the last 6 years should be able to play almost every single N64 game maxed out without issue these days. But people still like to pull out Project 64 with no different plugins to actually make it not suck, and complain that N64 emulation's bad. It's like, no, just bust out Simple 64.
Fair
Like,
enough.
come on now. Like, Project 64 deserves to stay in the year 2000 where it belongs. That's my biggest. That makes me mad. It's like, you can get a good experience out of Project 64 with a lot of different plugins, but it's a lot of work to get it going. Like, there's a couple of, like, pre-compiled packs you can get that make it okay, but it's like, people will just literally download vanilla Project 64 and wonder why their N64 emulation experience sucks. And it's like, and then they like talk about how crappy N64 emulation is. It's like, dude, go get an actual good N64 emulator set up then. Like, it's on you. It's on you that you had a trash experience. Like, suck it. Makes me mad. Every single week, it's an achievement of the week that's an N64 game. Like, man, N64 emulation's so bad. It's like, no, you're just dumb.
Remember, everybody, go to the comments and let Ice know what you think about his opinions on Project 64.
Let me know your opinions of me in general.
You can append it to your expanded universe recommendations that I won't be reading. But again, Ice will read them.
And I will troll you if you come at me with trolling comments. Anyway. Wiz.
We can disagree on things without being disagreeable.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, Wiz, final thoughts on Rogue Squadron?
I mean, I think it's a great arcade flight sim game. It's a great Star Wars game. It doesn't have the sins of Rogue Squadron 3, spending half the time on foot in janky sections. Like,
makes it even more depressing because they did it right before.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you like Star Wars games, if you like arcade flight games, it's worth checking out and giving it a try.
Yeah. I just realized something I could compare it to. It's like, if you like all range mode in Star Fox 64, go play Rogue Squadron. Anyway, thank you both again for joining me this week. Always love talking about Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Amazing game. Speedrunning community for it's also pretty cool stuff. Wish I was more into speedrun stuff, but oh well, maybe one day. It'd be fun to throw my hat in the Rogue Squadron 1 ring. But yeah, pick it up. I think the N64 version's really the way to go. Once again, but yeah, regardless, it's readily available on PC, and I'm hoping that one day we can see a GOG release of Battle for Naboo, because this game is not available on any digital storefronts. You can only legally get it through a disc still. Kind of irritating, but it runs a lot better than a PC version of 1 does. Vanilla experience anyway. But anyway, thank you again for watching. Love to hear your thoughts on Rogue Squadron in the comments below. And just big thank you again to SMWiz and Sir Lils for joining me. Always appreciate you both. Favorite time of the month. Take it easy, everybody. We'll see you back next month.
Yep. Thank you.